The flying trunk. Once upon a time, there lived a merchant who was very rich. He had so many goods and money that he could buy almost anything he wanted. But unfortunately, he passed away, leaving his son with all his wealth. The young man was very careless with his money. He spent it freely on all kinds of things, throwing grand parties, buying the most expensive clothes, and showing off to his friends. Before he knew it, all his father's money was gone. He went from being a wealthy young man to having nothing but a pair of slippers and an old dressing gown. His friends no longer wanted to be with him because he was poor. One day, as he was sitting alone in his empty house, feeling very sad, an old friend came to visit him. This friend took pity on him and gave him a large trunk. "Here, my friend," the old friend said. "This trunk can fly. Whenever you sit in it and say, 'Trunk, fly,' it will take you wherever you want to go." The young man was very excited. He quickly sat in the trunk, said, "Trunk, fly," and in a moment, the trunk rose up into the air. It flew over forests and mountains, and soon he found himself in a faraway land. The trunk landed near a beautiful palace. From the palace, he could hear music and laughter. People were having a great time inside. He decided to go in and see what was happening. He put on his best appearance, although his clothes were old, and walked into the palace. Inside, he saw a large hall filled with people. In the middle of the hall was a beautiful princess. She was the most beautiful girl he had ever seen. Her eyes were like stars, and her smile was as sweet as honey. The young man was immediately in love with her. He started to talk to the people around him, telling them all kinds of wonderful stories. He said he was a great prince from a faraway country. Everyone was amazed by his stories. The princess was also very interested in him. She listened to his tales with wide open eyes and a big smile on her face. The young man told her about the stars in the sky, how they were like diamonds scattered by the gods. He told her about the deep sea creatures, with their strange shapes and beautiful colors. The princess was so fascinated that she said to him, "I will marry you if you can come back tomorrow with even more wonderful stories." The young man was overjoyed. He quickly got back into his flying trunk and said, "Trunk, fly." The trunk took him back to his old home. He was so excited about marrying the princess that he started to think about all the stories he could tell her the next day. He went around town, trying to find books and learn new stories. But he was so busy that he forgot to buy food for the trunk. The trunk needed a special kind of wood to burn so that it could fly. The next day, when he was ready to go back to the princess with his new stories, he sat in the trunk and said, "Trunk, fly." But the trunk didn't move. It had no fuel to fly. He tried again and again, but it was no use. He was very sad. He knew he couldn't go back to the princess without the flying trunk. He walked around town, feeling very disappointed. He realized that his carelessness had cost him his chance to marry the beautiful princess. In the end, he had to give up his dream of marrying the princess. He learned a valuable lesson. He understood that he should be more careful with his things and his opportunities. He also learned that true love and happiness can't be won just by telling stories and showing off. This story teaches us that we should be careful with our resources and opportunities. Just like the young man, if we are careless, we may lose the things that are most important to us. Also, we should not rely on false pretenses to win the love and respect of others. True relationships are built on honesty and hard work, and we should always be prepared for the things we want to achieve, because a small oversight can lead to big disappointments.